Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I want to talk about Vinegar Syndrome's new Blu-ray of Reform School Girls. So, I had watched this once a while ago, didn't really remember it, and then rewatched it recently and had a good time, and then picked it up from a buddy on Facebook on Blu-ray. It comes with this artwork here, and it has I think her name is Sybil Danning. That's the other side that you can flip over if you prefer. And this movie was a trip. It really was. Vinegar Syndrome usually puts out kind of so bad they're good movies. This is more of a, cheesy, good women in prison type of film. So if you don't know what that is, women in prison were like these really cheesy, violent, gratuitous nudity films. I think they were big in Italy, if I remember correctly, about women going to jail and like getting into gang fights, and there's just constant nudity and sex and whatever else. And it's sort of a mock of that, but instead of being women in prison, it's supposed to be younger girls in reform school, but each of them look at least late 20s, some of them even closer to 40. So it's kind of amusing. It stars a woman whose name in the movie is Jenny. I believe it's Linda Carroll. It has Sybil Danning in it. Pat Ast is the, I guess like warden or whatever. And Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics is an old punk band. She's in it as well. She's in her, I think, late 30s during the filming of this. She's now since passed away. She committed suicide. I think it was back in the 90s. But it's a crazy film. If you've seen something, I guess the only other Vinegar Syndrome movie I could sort of, kind of compare it to, because it's sleazy, is Blood Games. But I don't know which one is more fun. That one's a little more serious. This one kind of has a tongue-in-cheek black humor thing going on. It's about this girl, Jenny, who gets arrested for, it looks like they're robbing a bank or robbing a store, and there's a shootout, and she gets thrown in a reform school. The judge goes lenient on her instead of, charging her as an adult. She goes to reform school, and right in the mix of things with Wendy O. Williams' character, who is in this gang, and they're like raping and molesting the other girls and branding them, and they have like a stranglehold on the girls in the school. There is shower scenes galore with tons and tons of nudity, and the warden or whatever she is, I guess the woman kind of running the school with the other woman, with Sybil Danning, she is, I guess, sleeping with some of the inmates. I guess they're inmates. She's sleeping with some of them and giving them preferential treatment, Wendy O. Williams included, and they just have roughshod on this school. And it's sleazy, it's kind of a gross hospital type setting where they're locked in, and sometimes they're thrown in the hole. Again, some of the women are taken advantage of, and they hose them down with fire hoses and abuse them, and there's fighting, and again, a good amount of nudity. So it's just a crazy movie about these women just fighting each other and sleeping together and going against the warden type character. She's not a warden. I guess Sybil Danning is the warden. I don't know what you would call her in this, but she like makes the rules and runs things while Sybil Danning sort of sits on her throne. I guess she's like overseeing her. And the only halfway decent person in the film is there's a nurse or a doctor in the reform school who's trying to do the right thing and knows that all this crazy stuff is going on and is trying to sort of take care of the women, but she gets mixed up in stuff too, and the warden and stuff go against her. So there's like this crazy stuff going on, and they're doing all this hard labor. Wendy O. Williams wears her boots throughout the whole film, even in the shower. So she's constantly like half naked with her implants hanging out in like these strange outfits. And it's just a crazy film. It's fun. It's got like a black humor sense of comedy, a little bit of a darkness to it, but really more over the top and gratuitous than anything. It's not really like it's not a scary or horror movie. It's just a gratuitous, sleazy, kind of fun film. One thing that made me really chuckle was there's an actor who plays like a farmhand who comes into the reform school and helps and gets hired, and then every night he goes home in his truck, and all the women look at him and they're all like lusting over him because they haven't been with a man in a long time, and you know, their sentences keep getting extended for bad behavior, and it's only women sleeping with women, and blah 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 blah. The guy playing this like stud is from RoboCop, the unemployed guy who has the silly big hair, and I think his name is like Kivo or Keva Rosenberg, and he's like, yo guys, you know, things happen. That's the stud from Reform School Girls. So it was great, just very humorous to see him in that role, because he's not really a particularly good looking, in shape kind of guy, but the women are lusting so bad after having a man that they don't care. So it's pretty funny. If you like over the top, gratuitous sleaze with some violence, lots of nudity and women fighting, gang situations, and this like almost Oz type atmosphere, the TV show, you'll probably like Reform School Girls. It's pretty fun. And if you liked Blood Games, you'll probably like Reform School Girls, though again it's more humorous than it is serious. Blood Games had a little bit more of a darker tone to it, I guess. But it's a really fun movie. The girls again don't look, you know, 19 or 18. They all look like they're in like their 30s. But it's a fun film. It has a newly scanned 2K restoration from the 35mm into positive. I thought it looked good. Reversible cover art, which I showed you. English subtitles. A making of documentary with cast and crew. An interview with the theatrical producer. An ode to Wendy O. Williams. Archival commentary tracks with writer-director Tom DeSimone. A commentary track with queer film historian. And video footage from the play Women Behind Bars. So I think they spun this off into a play after the movie came out. But it's from 1986. It has that 80s cheese. Recommended. If you haven't seen Reform School Girls and all that sounds interesting, Chris Kim, looking at you, check this out. You'll like it. Let me know, guys, if you've seen the crazy B-movie Reform School Girls. I had a lot of fun with it. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.